Hi. You like my sweatshirt? Isn't it nice? Anyway, that's not what this video is about. So let's talk about Hoosier. So Hoosier is a dog that belongs to my cousin and his girlfriend. He is a 2-year-old lab pit mix-ish. They adopted him about a month ago, and he has severe separation anxiety. He busted out of a crate like several times, bloodied his mouth up getting out, like bent up the crate, the wire crate, to the point that they just had to throw it away. They spent $300 on this like massive, monstrous, bear-proof cage for this dog, and they can't leave him alone for even a couple minutes without him destroying something. So when he's in his crate, he just barks and bites the bars and like busts his mouth up and bloodies it and all that. Skylar, what are you doing? I'm out in the barn. The horses are eating and the water troughs are filling. So they can't leave him alone. He destroys crates, he hurts himself, and he just barks constantly when he's in the crate. And they tried to put him in a bathroom instead, hoping that would be better. And he ripped up the flooring down to the subfloor. And it's going to cost several $100s to fix it. So it's not a crate anxiety, it is a separation anxiety. So I went over there today. He also pulls real bad on the leash, but that kind of became a non-issue for me, because I walked him on the leash and no prong collar, no tools, no nothing, just a couple turnarounds, and he takes correction really well. He was just on a regular flat collar. The difference is you need to change the way that you interact with the dog. So the dog is used to pulling, so when you give a small, short leash correction and then return to slack, it changes the way that you interact with the dog, and the dog doesn't pull. But anyway, that's a separate video. So I went over there, and I talked to my cousin's girlfriend. He wasn't there, he was at work. And the dog is very much attached to her. Not so much my cousin, who is a male, which is fairly typical. Women tend to coddle more than men do, and men tend to have a stronger presence, a stronger energy, I guess you could say. I don't want to get too far into like the stereotypes, because I have the same effect on dogs that most men do. My energy, my presence is very similar, just because of the way I carry myself and the confidence that I have working with dogs and with horses. So it's not a male-female thing, it's just a typical thing that you see that just happens to be sort of related to gender. So I talked to his girlfriend, so I had her walk me through his day, the dog's day. So he sleeps with her in the bed, follows her around the house. I can stop right there, and changing those two things are going to essentially fix the separation anxiety. So the dog follows her around. When she sits down in the chair, he comes up and begs for attention, and she gives it to him. He jumps up on the furniture at will. He just kind of does what he wants in the house. That's a problem. So 90% of dog training is how you live with the dog. Because you're not training the dog actively, like with an obedience session or something, all day, every day. But you are training the dog with how you're living with the dog every day, you know? So it makes a difference. So I really cracked down on her. I said, no free roaming in the house, can't jump up on furniture, no freely given affection. Skylar. No freely given affection. So, like, if she asks him to do something and he does it, she can give him affection. But that's it. Like, he can't just come up to her and ask for affection and get it. Because that's coddling. And we can't coddle an anxious dog. It's not gonna help. It's gonna hurt. So I told her that. Didn't really focus on the leash walking. We can focus on that a lot more later. This is more important. So no free roaming. So like if she's upstairs, he needs to be on his dog bed. or in his crate. If she's downstairs, he needs to be in his crate because that's where his crate is. He needs to sleep in the crate. You know, all of these really important things that might not seem so big when you look at them individually, but when you look at the whole picture, you're creating and nurturing this anxious dog. So it's really, you can have a dog that didn't start out anxious, and if you treat it that way, it's going to probably end up being anxious. So that's the problem. So we also worked on the crate. So we patterned going into the crate, staying in there with the door open, and just relaxing in there when we were sitting right there. But we need to make sure that, check the water here. We need to make sure that there's not a negative association with the crate itself, because it's one thing to tackle separation anxiety. It's another thing entirely to tackle crate anxiety. And this dog does not have a problem with the crate itself. Its separation is the problem. So what we did is I put a bark collar on him, the e-collar Technologies new bark collar. I've never used it, this brand specifically, but e-collar Technologies is what I use for all my remote collars, and I trust the brand. So I set it on a level 2 of 8 levels, because I knew that with this dog, a level 2, a level 1 was not going to do anything, but you want to start on a very low level. Normally you start at 1. With this dog, I knew just from getting a read on him that a level 1 was not going to be all that effective, so I put it on a level 2. And a level 2 is like not bad at all. Like it's not painful. It's uncomfortable, but it's not painful. So I put that on him, and we worked on, you know, you put him in the crate. Oh, and another thing that's really important is you don't let the dog rush out of the crate when you open the door. They have to wait to be released. So that's important, and I worked on that with her. So we practiced putting the bark collar on, putting the dog in the crate, leaving the room, and the dog barks. And the bark collar's not doing anything right now. It's activating when he barks. No, Faith. No, don't do that. She eats out of a feed bag because she drops food all the time, and then she drinks with it and gets it all soaked. But anyway, so the bark collar is activating, but it's not changing his behavior yet because he doesn't really understand what it means. So on a level 2, it's just uncomfortable, and it goes off when he barks, but it's got a safety delay, so it only goes off with continuous barking every 5 seconds. So there's a 5-second delay after a bark. So this keeps it from just being like boom, 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 shock, 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 shock. But it's allowing him to start to make the association between barking and discomfort. So what we did was we went upstairs, we let him bark, and the first time it took about 15 minutes for him to stop barking. He stopped barking for a couple minutes. We went back downstairs, let him out of the crate. She asked him to sit, so he was doing something for her. She gave him some attention, gave him a drink of water, put him right back in the crate. We repeated, went back upstairs. It took him about 10 minutes to stop barking. And then we went back downstairs, let him out of the crate, asked him to sit. So he was doing something for her. Give him some attention, give him a drink of water, put him back in. The next time it took about 2 minutes for him to stop barking. And then we went back downstairs and repeat, repeat, repeat. And I told her the more that you can repeat this, the better and the faster you're going to get results. But honestly, the thing that's going to make the most difference is her cracking down on his freedom and absolutely just taking control of everything in his life and providing no freely given affection and all those things I talked about. That's going to make the most difference. But this bark collar protocol and this crate protocol is going to hopefully break the habit of barking and destroying his crate. So we're using the bark collar to hopefully stop so the progression goes whining, barking, destruction. So doing silly things in the crate and tearing it up. So if we can stop it at barking, you won't get to the stage of destroying the crate. So that's the intent of using the bark collar. And a process or a protocol that is spouted a lot with crate training is essentially do what I just said without the bark collar. So you put them in for a short period of time. As soon as they stop barking, you let them out and you repeat. And that works for a lot of dogs. But this dog has been so patterned and so entrenched in this habit of barking, and he gets into this anxious state of mind that he starts panicking. He's gotten so patterned into that behavior that he needs the extra assistance from the bark collar to make the connection of calm is good, loud, barking nonsense is bad. So he needs that assistance to make that connection. Once he makes that connection, we probably won't need to use the bark collar anymore. And like I said, the bark collar is set at a 2. So it's not anything that's excessive, just nailing the dog every time he barks. So we're using the tool as part of a larger picture, as part of a whole training program. It's not a fix-all tool. It has a place in use just like every other tool potentially does. So there's that. So I told her that when you crack down on all of that, and it's not permanent, the elimination of affection and things is not permanent. It's just until we get the separation anxiety toned down and taken care of. Then you can really start treating him like a family pet, like a dog again, rather than like a military sort of approach. So there's that. So I think I covered just about everything. Yeah. We'll see how Hoosier does. And it kills me. It kills me because I am a Purdue grad. And Purdue and IU have like this ancient rivalry. And my cousin is a huge IU fan and named his dog Hoosier. So now I have to go work with this dog named Hoosier, and I'm a Purdue grad, and it's not good, guys. It's not good. But we'll see how Hoosier does with time. Hopefully they can keep with it and make some progress.